Why having the right keywords could increase your sales by thousands of dollars. How tracking keywords and implementing changes in PPC could make and save you thousands more. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AM/PM podcast. My name is Bradley Sutton, and I'll be your host. And this is the show where we discuss all things Amazon, TikTok Shop, and Walmart private label, and how to generate recurring revenue streams 24 hours a day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show. Get it? AM/PM podcast. And as a matter of fact, this webinar I recorded in the midst of a 36-hour travel nightmare, sleeping in airports 2 of the nights. Even though I wasn't working on my Amazon businesses there, I was still making money though. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. We are talking about keywords today, and mainly about why should you track it as a metric. And this is going to be a workshop that whether you have Helium 10 or not, you're going to get value, because I'm going to give you guys some concepts, and I'm going to show you how doing some of the things I'm talking about today could mean hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to your account. But not doing them at the same time could be costing you hundreds, if not thousands. All right. We're talking about the one metric that most Amazon sellers, you guys are going to learn today why you might be leaving hundreds of dollars on the table. Okay. Where do Amazon sales come from? This is, a question that people want to know, the majority. And so I want you guys to think right now, what was the last thing that you purchased on Amazon? And then how did you find the product? Go to your app and then hit orders. And let me pull up the last thing I ordered. Oh, iPhone XS Max. You might wonder, why am I ordering an iPhone XS Max? Those are super old. I ordered it for my parents. My parents are super old. They're in their 80s and they don't need a fancy phone. But I bought them an Apple Watch, and their old phone, they had an iPhone 6 and they couldn't use the Apple Watch with it. So I bought the iPhone XS Max. Now, that's what I bought. How did I find that? What I did, I typed in a keyword, iPhone XS Max. Boom. That's it. Is that the case? There's no data that says exactly, but if you were to type into different AIs, it would say, hey, the cleanest citable stat is that 50 to 63% of product searches start on Amazon's search bar. All right. Nobody knows, but how can we maybe see, validate? Is it really the majority? Is it over 50% of orders come from search originally? Probably. For example, right here, this is the Helium 10 MCP. So what I did was I said, hey, check sales from January to June for one ASIN in one of my accounts, all right? And Claude spit back to me, this one product did about 4,000 units of sales, about $121,000. You guys see that there? Okay, now, so how can we tell approximately, did a lot of these come from keywords? Well, look at the second thing that I put in Claude. I said, show me a breakdown from advertising, where in advertising, at least, the sale came from a keyword. And look at this. Of those 3,800 sales, 1,000 came from an exact or broad campaign for a search term, not an ASIN. And another 700 came from ASIN. But just remember, just because you're doing an ASIN targeting, maybe somebody sees an ad on a page and then they hit the ASIN and they buy your product, they still could have landed on that page originally from a keyword. So here's potentially 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 just of the advertising. We're already at 1/3 of all the orders that this product got is pretty much from keywords and just from advertising. All right. So again, the data is kind of showing that yes, keywords are still king, whether we're talking or organic or sponsored. Here's another thing I put into Claude with the Helium 10 MCP. I says, pull up my search query performance reports for this ASIN from the same time period, which is January to June, and tell me how many of my purchases there were in this time frame. All right. So if, for those of you who don't know, search query performance is an amazing thing in Amazon, where it tells you where the purchases come from, what keyword. But here's the interesting thing. It only shows like maybe 30% of your orders or less because it's only purchases that come from a keyword and only if you don't click any other product and if you buy it right away. In other words, I have to search a keyword, immediately click on a product, and then pretty much immediately check out. If I start clicking around, it's not going to be noted. All right. So how many were like that? Take a look at what I have here in my Search Creative Performance Report. Look at that. 1,046. So 1,046 of those 4,000 were from keywords, but were from the keywords that is very, not rare, but where they immediately buy. I mean, most of us, when we buy products, like we might click through 3 or 4 products and then buy one. Guess what, guys? That actually wouldn't have shown up here. This is only showing the ones where somebody bought it right after the first search. So look at that. It's obvious that yes, the majority of people, definitely over 50%, are absolutely using keywords. How many people search with keywords? You know, there's people out there who try and tell you, oh, most buyers are now switching to AI to find products. I bet you some of you use Alexa for Amazon in trying to maybe check the price history of what you bought, right? Or maybe you ask it about the reviews or something after you found the product. Anybody do that? Let me know in the comments. But the majority of you just use the search bar. And this is what the data shows. As you guys can see here, the number of people that were searching for products with a keyword back 6 months before Alexa for Amazon, or it used to be called Rufus, was around, is about the same number now. So if 300,000 people were searching your keywords in January 2024, when there was no AI, no Alexa, no Rufus, guess what? 300,000 people are searching those keywords today in 2026. I found some products and now I want to compare it. Alexa is great. But again, the initial searches, most of it still happening with search and very few. Now, this is a joke that comes from our Freedom Ticket. I think Tomer has said this, Kevin King. Where's the best place to hide a dead body? On page 2 of Amazon search results, because nobody scrolls to page 2. So again, now that we know that keywords are important, how do we get sales from keywords? It's by getting on page 1 of search results, right? I think we're all in agreement there. Those of you who search products, probably few of you scroll to page 2 or 3. Is that right? Like did most of you find your results like on the first maybe 50 products, whether it was mobile or desktop? Probably most of you, what you ended up buying was from the first 50 products that came up from that search, right? And so that's why we say, hey, if you're on page 2, you might as well be invisible. Now, the thing about that is, how do you get to page 1 for a product, right? Well, there's a metric that we have called title density. And this is not common. I'm just throwing this out as an extreme example. Title density is how many listings on page 1 have the exact search phrase in the title. Exactly. Like if it was coffin shelf, it has coffin shelf in the title. Take a look here. It says dark spot remover for body. You guys see that first one there? It says title density of 1. What does that mean? That means that if you were to search dark spot remover for body on Amazon, only one listing in the entire page actually has that exact phrase in exact phrase match, right? So what does that mean? That means if you were to put that keyword in there, in your listing, theoretically, from day 1 that you launch this product, you would be on page 1, potentially. This is not a good way to get on page 1. You can't do that for all your keywords, but I just wanted to throw that out there that yes, you can get on page 1 without even any sales sometimes, and that's why we have this metric. I think Helium 10 is the only tool that has this title density metric. But yes, that is one of the ways to get to page 1, right? But think about how Amazon makes money, all right? Sometimes people think, the goal of Amazon and the goal of me as a brand is different. This is one of those cases where it's the same. Your goal is, hey, you want people to see your product and think it's relevant and purchase it in the search results on page 1. Amazon wants that too. The only way Amazon makes money, guys, is if somebody purchases your product. They get their commission, right? So here is where you got Amazon and the brand, they're trying to catch the customers with the net, and you have the same goal. All right. So really, Amazon is incentivized. It wants to show the most relevant products in the search results. Why? Because the better chance that somebody sees something that they're trying to buy, that the better chance that Amazon gets its commission. And we want that too. We want our products to get purchased. If we're making a profit on our products, we make money when somebody sees our product in the search results and buys it. Amazon makes money. All right. So that's how the Amazon algorithm is kind of structured. Here's just kind of like an oversimplification of this, right? But how you get to page one, leveraging the Amazon algorithm, and the search algorithm at least, is through advertising. You don't get on page one from day one of your listing unless, like I said, maybe you're the only product that has a certain keyword in the title, right? So 98% of your keywords are not in the title. And so you wouldn't be on page one from day one. So how do you get to page one? Well, number one, you got to set a very high bid to get top of search and you have your product in a sponsored ad show up. The more that buyers see that sponsored ad on page one, they click it and then they buy it, that is going to help raise up your organic rank, right? So maybe your organic rank is page 7 or page 6, position 250 or something. Well, you get your sponsored rank 1, 2, 3, or 4. You're showing up at the top. People are seeing your product. They purchase it. Well, little by little, you go from 250. Maybe now you go up to 200. Now you're at 150, page 3. You're at 100, page 2. Now you get up to the top 50 organic positions. You're on page 1, right? And then you just rinse and repeat for other keywords. This is again, this is an oversimplification, but this is in general pretty much how it works most of the time. If you guys just take a screenshot of this or just go really quickly to this video on YouTube, h10.me/750. This has like a full launch guide. It's completely free. I do an annual, I call it the Maldives honeymoon launch strategy, where I talk about how to get on page one. So just go to this, hit bookmark or save, and then come back to it after this webinar is done. But right now, I just gave a super oversimplification of getting to page one. But if you want to go in depth, check out that h10.me/750 of the Serious Sellers podcast and AM/PM podcast. Now, here's the thing. If you're trying to get on page one and you're doing those methods where you're trying to bid high, get top of search, get the visibility, get those purchases, how do you know if this campaign is working? I mean, you're probably maybe even lowering the cost of your product, offering a big coupon, trying to generate that sales velocity, especially if you're launching a product, or you're bidding top of search, sometimes maybe over what you can afford. Like you might be even willing to lose a little bit of money bidding super high because you want to get that organic rank up there, right? How do you measure, is it working? Well, you need to see, where's my sponsored ad showing up? Remember what you're trying to do? You're trying to get at the top of search so that anybody who searches the keyword can see your listing there, right? So you've got to show up maybe in the top 4, maybe top 7 top sponsored ads if you want to be seen at the top. So number 1, you have to check, where's my ad showing up? Number 2, where is your current organic rank? Are you even ranking at all in the first 7 pages? Are you on page 2, 3, 4, 5? And then as you start getting sales, you need to see the progress. If you're spending all this money in advertising and coupons and discounts, well, you're probably losing a little bit of money, which is fine. It takes money to make money, but you need to see, how is your progress? Is it working? You just sold 30 units at a loss maybe because you have a big coupon and you have a really high bid. If your organic rank is not improving, do you just want to keep throwing money away? No. So you need to, again, see, is your organic rank improving? And that's what we're talking about today. This is a very, very important metric. And that's why I said, if you're not tracking your keywords, you could be just throwing money away. It's not just about making money. It's about saving money. So what is the easiest way without any tool at all to track your progress? Well, you just have to hire somebody. And this is what people used to do in the old days before there was ever a Helium 10 or any other tool out there, where, all right, 10 times a day, let me just type in my keyword. Like here, I type in coffin shelf and I'm looking for my coffin shelf and I just see, all right, am I in page 1? Nope. All right, I'm not in the top 50. Am I in page 2? Oh, nope, I'm not in the top 100. Oh, there I am at page 3. Looks like I'm about 100 and position 120. So anybody can do this. It doesn't take a tool, but it does take time. You just literally have to type in the keyword over and over again, hour by hour, day by day, and track where is your sponsored ad showing up? Where is your organic rank showing up? Has anybody done that? Let me, like, especially those of you who have been selling on Amazon a long time. Is this the way that you used to track keywords? If so, that's fine. That's necessary. That's what you had to do in the old days. But obviously, a better way is using some kind of keyword tracker like that Helium 10 has. Here's a screenshot of that. Remember that hemp product I was showing you guys earlier? This is that same Helium 10 account. And here's their keyword tracker where, for example, it is tracking the keyword CBD roll-on. And you can see the organic rank is position 1, and it's been 1 for a while. You can see the sponsored rank is kind of fluctuating. Right now, it's outside of the top 96. Now, some people ask, like, what is some of the benefits of Helium 10 keyword tracker? We're the only one that's tracking all 7 pages, all pages of Amazon search results for both sponsored and organic. Most other keyword trackers out there are only tracking like the first 2 or 3 pages. So you're missing out if you're really showing up in the search results or not. But anyways, this is doing it automatically either once a day or even up to hourly. All right. So that you don't have to go and track and go for all 50 of your keywords, pay somebody all day long to go track where exactly are you showing up? Is your organic rank improving? All right. So keyword tracking, guys, is a huge, huge, huge time saver. Now, once you click, you can click into details and see, all right, by the hour, by the day, where was my organic rank? You can see here, I've been like fluctuating between 1 and 3. I'm good. Like, I want to be in the top 4 positions and I want to maintain that. Just because you get to the top of search, it doesn't mean you're always going to stay there. All right. So there we go. And this, if I'm looking back at the 90-day history, I never dropped below 3. That's awesome. I bet all of you guys wish you had this kind of, if this was your main keyword, this is what you would want to see. All right. But not all of us have this. And so that's why we have to know, am I showing up at the top? What's going on? You need to check the sponsor rank. Here, I had what's called Boost on. That allows me to check hourly. You see how there's like way more dots here? And what Helium 10 does, it's the only tool where we are rotating browsing scenarios. So we're showing what the rank might be in one address or another address or one browser. Like your Safari rank could be different even if you look on the same computer than your Amazon Chrome rank. All right. So we're rotating that so you can kind of see, is there a lot of fluctuation happening? You can see some fluctuation here on this graph, because just because on your computer, your sponsored rank is number 3, doesn't mean your friend's computer who lives across the street from you is looking at it the same way and might be using a different browser. It might be showing up differently. But a lot of times, if your bid is high enough and consistent enough, it will pretty much stay pretty consistent no matter where in the United States are. This is something that would show you that. So again, Helium 10 is one of the only tools to check hourly up to 24 times a day. Now, what do you do with this information? All right. So let's say you're tracking manually. Forget about Helium 10. You're just like typing it into the search bar. You have an Excel sheet or a Google sheet where you're tracking your sponsored rank, your organic rank, or you're using Helium 10 or another tool and you see it in a graph. Like, so what? Is it just for information? Oh, that's nice. I'm on page 3. Great. No, because of what you see in the keyword tracker, you are going to be doing things like maybe raising the bid. All right. Like what if you're really trying to rank for a keyword and you see consistently your sponsored rank is 10, 11, 12. That means you're at the bottom of page 1. Maybe you're on page 2. Are you getting maximum visibility for your product on that keyword? No. So what are you going to do? Hey, you know what? I need to raise the bid 20 cents. And let me see, does that bring me up to the top of the page? Nope. I need to raise it more. Maybe you want to lower bids. Maybe you're number 1 in sponsored rank, but you're like, you know what? Am I overpaying? Is there really a difference between being sponsored rank 1, 2, 3, or 4? They all show up at the very top. Maybe you're okay with being position 2 or 3. Well, when you see that in keyword tracking, what does that make you do? Maybe you're like, you know what? Let me lower my bid 15 cents and see if I still stay within the top 4. So that's another action that you could take. Maybe something is just not working at all. Like you have a really bad ACoS, but or maybe your ACOS is not that bad, but your organic rank is just not moving, and you're not very profitable on the ACOS. It's not great, it's not bad, but it's just not profitable. Maybe you're like, you know what? My organic rank is not moving, even though I am making sales. I'm just going to pause advertising on this because I'm just throwing my money away for no reason. That's another action you could take. Maybe you want to restart advertising. You're like, hey, I'm looking back at my keyword tracker history. When I used to be ranked, when I was ranked number 1 through 4, I was making X sales, but now my rank dropped. It looks like I had turned off my advertising. You know what? I need to restart it because this has affected my sales. Or maybe you're getting great sales on a keyword, right? But again, you notice your organic rank is not increasing or it's actually decreasing. Well, because you're looking at the keyword tracking, maybe you're now going to go check your conversion rates for those keywords in search query performance. All right. So there's a lot of actions that you could take from tracking your keywords. Now, here's the key. Is it worth the effort to track keywords manually or to track keywords with Helium 10 or however you're doing it? Here, I asked the Claude with a Helium 10 MCP. I said, look at my search query performance. How many keywords gave me sales? How many different keywords or how many purchases were there from keywords? 1,046, right? Look at some of these. Here is a keyword that I didn't even have in my listing originally, CBD. And CBD is a forbidden keyword. Maybe I didn't know that keyword was very relevant for me and I just started ranking for it later and I had a campaign. Look at that. How many purchases came? 131 purchases for this one keyword that I might not have known about. And remember, this is only the purchases that happen right after somebody searches. So probably that CBD roll-on keyword probably generated 200, 300, or even more purchases in the same time period. Here's another keyword, hemp roll-on pain relief, 63. All right. Just take that first one, 131 purchases. This is a $31 product. That's $4,000 of a keyword that maybe if I was never tracking it and I never did a campaign to try and rank for that keyword, if I wasn't showing up on page 1, would I be getting 131 orders of it? Would I be getting this $4,000 worth of sales? You see how tracking your keywords and getting to page 1 can have a big impact? $4,000 impact for this keyword right here. Here's another thing I asked Claude through the Helium 10 MCP. I said, tell me how many unique keywords gave purchases from search query performance. Here's the answer. 333 different keywords had at least one purchase. 114 different keywords had at least 2 purchases. So you might think, oh, it's only like 5 different keywords that will ever give me sales. And sure, there's always going to be like 5, 10 keywords that will give you the majority of your sales. But people can search any kind of crazy keyword and find and buy your product. And that's why you need to know all these keywords and try to rank for the ones that could have a potential to get you more sales. Look at that. This is a product. This is only 6 months. 333 different keywords brought at least one sale to this hemp roll-on cream. So the question is, well, how do I know what are the keywords? And some of this stuff, guys, you should just screenshot. I'm not going to go into too much depth. This is all available in Helium 10. The majority of you have the Helium 10 Diamond Plan. You've all got access to this already. But what kind of keywords would you want to rank for? That should you even be tracking? Well, what about where the competition is currently ranking highly for, but you're not? What about where the competitors have historically ranked highly for? In other words, maybe they're not ranking high now, but they used to get sales from a keyword 3 months ago. Only Helium 10 can do that. That's your historical Cerebro. We're the only tool that you can take that time machine back. Another one, where are competitors getting verified sales? You can do that from Amazon Brand Analytics. That's another tool that only Helium 10 has available, where we can show you from Amazon which keywords are driving sales. And then the last is search query performance, which I've been talking about too. It's an Amazon data point available in Helium 10, available in your own Seller Central account. But these are all ways to find keywords. So here I did a prompt, but here I said, hey, here's my competitor hemp creams or hemp roll-ons. Tell me the keywords where they're ranking high now. Tell me the keywords that brought sales historically. Tell me the keywords that is from their brand analytics, and tell me my keywords from search query performance. And it's going to do it all at once, guys. The MCP at Helium 10 is just next level. It would have taken me a long time. To do that. And then here's the results. Look at all these different keywords it found that I am not currently ranking for. Like CBD pain relief. My rank is at the middle of page 1, but my competitors were getting sale. CBD muscle rub. I wasn't ranking highly at the top of search for that one. Here's another one, emu oil. What the heck is emu oil? I don't even know. For pain relief. I wasn't even ranking at all for that, but competitors are ranking high. And so within seconds, the Helium 10 MCP, or it'll take you minutes if you just do it inside of Helium 10, it's going to find these keywords that is driving sales to your competitors. And that's the key, but not to you. And then what action are you going to take? If your competitors are getting sales from these keywords, you want to get sales from these keywords, right? How do you get sales? Well, go back to that process. You start on page 3 or 4 or 5, you advertise, and you try and get that rank up, all right? But this is how you can find those keywords. Here's another great use case that, again, the majority of you already have access to because you all have Helium 10. I say, hey, calculate it out. If I were to increase my, and I didn't even spell that right, but Claude can understand my misspellings. If I were to increase my impressions to the same number of search volume, in other words, my impressions was not the same as search volume because I was ranking low. But what happens when I'm ranking on the top of page 1 and now every time somebody searches the keyword, they find my product? Look at this. These are very low search volume keywords, guys. Look at this, 600, 600, 1400. If I were just on these 5 keywords here, or 4 keywords, were to increase my keyword rank and track it, these nothing search volume keywords would have brought me $600 worth of sales over 6 months. And there's keywords out here that have 10x the search volume. So you can kind of do the math. You guys see how this can make you money. It saves you money. It can make you money if you're tracking your keywords properly and doing these kind of campaigns. So guys, start tracking keywords ASAP. Those of you who haven't done it, all levels of Helium 10, platinum, diamond, doesn't matter what level you have, just go to your keyword tracker, hit the add products, add your hero products, and then add the keywords, all right? Your most important keywords, turn on the boost. Now this one is only diamond. It's that rocket ship that you guys see right here, that red rocket ship. That's going to start tracking where you are ranking at the hourly level. And see, are you on page 1? Are you on page 2? Is your rank fluctuating? You're going to be able to see that. You can hit the heat maps in Keyword Tracker. Maybe you want to visualize it instead of on a line graph. You want to visualize over time how your rank is increasing. You have heat maps right there in Helium 10's Keyword Tracker. Another thing that I bet you 90% of you don't do. Tell me right now. Tell me if there's anybody in this room who has Helium 10 who has gone into competitors and added your competitors into Keyword Tracker so that you can see where your relative rank is to them. It doesn't mean relative to page 1 or page 2, but let's say you were tracking 5 competitors. What is your relative rank? In other words, for a certain keyword, if you're relative rank 1, that means you're the first one that shows up. Regardless of where it is in the search results, you're the first one that shows up before your competitors. But what if there was 5, you're number 5? That means you're the last one to show up. So you might be happy. Oh, look at me. I'm on page 1. I'm on the top half of page 1. But if your relative rank is 5, what does that mean? That means 4 of your competitors are showing up in the search results before you, which might not be that great, right? So that's why that's another metric. And again, a metric that only Helium 10 has that is important to track. Now, here's something that I know none of you do. Automatically harvest keywords. This is right there in Helium 10, guys. You guys have access to this and you're not using this. What does this mean? This is Helium 10 is the only tool that does this. You hit the suggested keywords and then you set your settings like, hey, if I ever start ranking for a keyword that's over 500 search volume in the top 10 or whatever, let me know so I can track it. Hey, if my competitor starts getting sales from a keyword, in other words, a high search volume keyword, they start ranking in the top 10 or top 5 or whatever, let me know to track it. We are going to automatically alert you that these keywords exist. And so now you don't have to go and try to, search for these new keywords. It's automatically harvesting. So you know what keywords you need to track. Now, you're tracking all the keywords, right? Remember how I said you need to take action? Well, what do you do if you see that you're trying to rank for a keyword, your organic rank is low, and you put in a bid for $2, let's just say, but you look in your keyword tracker and the sponsored rank is like 10. How do you get to sponsored rank 1, 2, or 3, or 4? Well, the way you do it is by increasing your bid, right? How would you do that? Well, you would have to go into Seller Central, this is that Seller Central advertising console. This is not Helium 10. And then you'd have to find the campaign, and then you'd have to find that exact keyword target, hit edit, and then raise the bid. Imagine if you had 50 of these you had to do, and you're doing it multiple times a day until you are determined or until you find that you're on the top of the page. Is that a really good use of your time? That would take hours to do, right? But that's what a lot of you guys are doing, or maybe you've hired somebody to do that. There's an easier way. If you're using Helium 10 ads, you can actually set up a rule where you can say, you know what? Here's a keyword I'm tracking in Keyword Tracker. If in my sponsored rank, if there is 3 checks in a row where my rank drops below 4, you know what? Increase my bid by 15 cents. Increase my bid by 15 cents. And then what happens is you get a suggestion every day. It'll tell you, hey, look at this keyword, goth bath mat. You know what? You were not ranking in the top 4. You need to increase the bid by 15 cents. And then you just hit yes or no. And so those 50 checks you can do almost instantly, guys. How much money and time is saved there? If you were to track 50 keywords hourly, that's going to take you like 8 hours a day, right? Because you're having to type it in the search bar. 8 hours of work because you're having to do those 50 keywords and track it in your own Excel sheet, doing it every single hour. Literally will take you the whole day, or a VA or an employee. And then after that, now you know, oh, okay, here's 20 keywords where I need to raise the bid. Here's another 10 keywords where I need to lower it. That might take you another 2 hours to go find one by one those things. If you're using Helium 10 Keyword Tracker and Helium 10 ads, the rule, 2 minutes, guys. 10 hours of work becomes 2 minutes. I don't care if you're using a virtual assistant that, maybe for you, you're only paying them $3 or $4 an hour. And you might think, oh, this is so cheap. That's still money. If they're spending 8 hours, you're still, spending, $50 a day to do this. Which is better, to pay somebody $50, or if it's a US based employee, to pay them $300 to do it, or to do something that takes 2 minutes? It's a no-brainer, guys. Think how much money you're saving if you do that. So guys, use Helium 10 to make money and save money, or whatever keyword tracker you're using. So find those opportunity keywords. We talked about search, create, performance, brand analytics, historical keywords. Track the keywords hourly. Can't do that anywhere else. And then set the automatic rules so that you can start adjusting your bids based on keyword rank. Joseph says, use huge value. I agree. Now, for those of you who don't have the diamond plan and you want to get that Helium 10 ad so you can try this rule, here's a bonus. All right. SSP30 is a discount code to upgrade from platinum, or maybe you don't have a diamond at all. This will save you 30% up to 6 months. You're not tied in for 6 months. You can just try it out for a month and just go back to the platinum if you want, and no harm, no foul. But I think if you guys start using this, you'll see the value. So if you want to save 30%, use the code SSP30. We're going to give some bonuses for this. Number one, you can get a Helium 10 AI cheat sheet with skills and prompts for MCP. A lot of the ones that, like I showed you today, those were all from the MCP. Those are all prompts I was using. All right. For those of you who upgrade with this plan. The second thing, you can get direct contact with my sourcing agent in China. It's something I like giving out to people for those who sign up for this plan. And number three, you can get a one-on-one call with somebody from my team, possibly even me, to help set up. Like if you never had set up keyword rank, if you set up Helium 10 ads and get this deal, and you need help, like I've never had track keywords. I need help tracking my keywords. I need help setting up my advertising rule so that I can have an automatic modifier based on the keyword rank. We'll set it up for you one-on-one. All right. So again, save 30% on this Helium 10 Diamond code SSP30. At this time, let's go ahead and open it up for questions. How do we request a one-on-one call through Helium 10? Yeah, once you upgrade with the SSP30, reach out to customer service and just say, hey, I was on this webinar. Bradley said if I use this code SSP30, I can book the one-on-one call with his team to help me set up my advertising, and they'll book it for you in customer service. Joseph says, where do we get these cheat sheets? Same thing through customer service. So when you say, hey, I need to set up my one-on-one call because I use this coupon code, please give me Bradley's China sourcing agent, and please give me Bradley's MCP cheat sheet. They'll send it all to you. Sergio says, where can I connect the MCP? If you have the Helium 10 Diamond account, there'll be a button on the very top of your Helium 10 screen. It'll give you the instructions on how to connect MCP, or just reach out to customer service and they'll tell you how to connect. Super easy. Like if you have Claude, let's just say you just go to connectors, you be logged into your Helium 10 account, go to connectors in Claude, and then in the connector store, first you hit customize in Claude, and then you hit connectors, and then you just search Helium 10. You just click once and boom goes a dynamite. You're connected. Good question by Dirk. Is there a connection to KDP like Seller Central? What do you mean by connection? Are you talking about to Helium 10 or to the keyword tracker? If you're talking about KDP, keyword tracker, it works exactly the same as if you had a regular product. You'll be able to track your keywords for your books in KDP in the same Helium 10 as well. Joseph says, do you have a specific number of keywords for a product? It's however many keywords could potentially bring you sales. You saw that one hemp product had 333 keywords that brought it sales. Does that mean I need to track all 333? No. I prioritize based on the keywords that will give me the best chance of sales, and I experiment with the others. Some of those I might only ever get one sale, and then it's like it was just a fluke and it doesn't make sense to keep focusing on it. But others, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the keywords that are going to consistently bring me sales. Even if it's only like one a month or two a month, those add up, guys. If I have 100 of those type of keywords, that's 100 sales a month. That's 200 sales a month. Who doesn't want to get those sales, right? Ricardo says, how do I get my bestseller on page 1 when I'm already using the right keywords and ads? Well, I could talk the whole episode about this, but go into that episode 750 of Serious Sellers Podcast, of the Maldives honeymoon, and see some of the strategies on getting on page 1 there. We have 20,000 competitors. Difficult to see how this would help navigate with more chaotic data. As a matter of fact, it is 10 times as relevant to somebody like you who has way more competitors than somebody like the example. 10 times as relevant. That guy is already top of his niche. And so he could get very few keywords that he wasn't getting sales from. If you have a lot of competitors, nobody has 20,000 competitors, but if you've got like 30 good competitors, you've got a lot more keywords that you could potentially be getting sales from. A lot bigger pool. It's actually better to be doing this tracking on the keywords when you have more competitors and you get more data. All right. The more competitors there are, they're not all ranking for the same keywords, guys. Competitor 1 might be killing it on keywords A, B, and C. Competitor 2 might have keywords D, E, and F that nobody else has. The more competitors you have, the more keyword opportunity there is. Kevin says, unclear on how to select competitors. Will you manufacture and sell organic coffee in several formats? I need some organic coffee right now. I have not slept in 24 hours because I've been in this stupid airport. Send me some, please, Kevin. We do well. It's a very saturated category. How do I know who are my competitors? Great question. What you want to do is pick the products, the 5 or 6 products that are most similar to your product in form and function and price. If you have an organic Ethiopian coffee blend that is $30, you want to find other organic Ethiopian coffee blends that are around $30. Don't find an organic Ethiopian coffee blend that's $8. That might not be your competitor because the price is too different. Don't find a $30 organic Colombian coffee blend. That might not be your competitor. So find who is the closest to you, where if somebody were to type the main keyword and they saw your product and the competitor product, there's kind of an equal chance that they would buy it. That's how I consider who my competitors are. Great question. Natalia says, how do I add competitors to find new keywords? So you'll have to go back on the replay for it. But basically, it's in Keyword Tracker. There's a place called competitors. And then you're going to do the keyword harvesting. Wait, is it keyword harvesting? What did it say? Hold on. Let me pull up my slide here. Suggested keywords. It's under the suggested keywords tab. All right. Suggested keywords. The boost mode is for how many products? It depends on what diamond, I think, can go up to 100 or 500 keywords, something like that you can have on boost at any one time. I mean, you shouldn't want to do 500 though. Like I only do boost on the stuff I'm trying to do those ranking campaigns. Like I can't imagine you're doing more than 20, 30 ranking campaigns at once. So just whatever you're doing a ranking campaign, that's what I turn the boost on. Can you please show how we can run this analysis in H10? Oh, great question. So everything I did was kind of H10 because it was the MCP, but everything that I did in the MCP, you can do that in Helium 10. You just use the different tools like Cerebro and Search Tree Performance. And if you go into those tools, look at the videos there, it'll show you step-by-step how to do it inside of Helium 10 instead of the MCP. Yeah. Grover says, average order value is $6. What do you suggest for early stage company? Remember I showed you guys Ivan, who was on here, who had the podcast yesterday? His average order value is $8, even though he's in the United States. And he has the Helium 10 Elite plan. So it's a matter of scale. You know, like if you're only selling 5 units a month, do you need the Helium 10 Diamond plan? No, you don't. If you're only selling like 5 products a month, you can do the math. You don't even need, I'll be honest, maybe you don't even need Helium 10 at all. If you only have, like 5 keywords, you can do those manual things until you build up and then get Helium 10 once you start increasing your sales. Do you guys ever offer account audit for ads and give feedback? Not necessarily, but those who are Helium 10 Elite members, like if you have the Helium 10 Diamond plan and you do what's called Elite, and by the way, to get more information on that, h10.me/elite, h10.me/elite. We do one-on-one. You can do one-on-one call with me once a month and one-on-one call with Carrie once a month. And yes, actually most of our Elite members, what they like us to do is audits on their advertising. And we absolutely can go over that in there. So yeah, Helium 10 Elite members can do that. Where can we see the last few session recordings from the Elite trainings? If you go at the top of your Helium 10 screen, there's an Elite button. Hit there and it has all of your recordings for those of you who are Diamond or Elite members. Diamond or Elite members can get those trainings if you hit the Elite button on the top of your screen. All right, guys, that's all the time we have today. Thank you guys very much. I hope you guys, let me know in the comments, were you able to learn something about the value of tracking keywords, about the value of ranking for keywords and discovering new ones? That was the main focus I wanted to talk about today, is understanding how much time you can save, how much money you can make, and how to stop losing money by not tracking the right keywords. So I hope that's the one takeaway you guys are going to take away. And for those of you, maybe you don't use Helium 10 ads, no problem. Track your keywords at the very least. Even if you have the Platinum plan, you don't even need the Diamond plan to track keywords. Track your keywords, guys. Those of you with the Diamond plan and using Helium 10 ads, set up that rule. Set up that rule ASAP where you can start adjusting your bids based on your keyword ranks. Only with Helium 10 are you able to do it in the way that we have. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you guys later. Bye now.